Zebra swallowtail flies through the valley, but not in Pittsburgh, flies an hour away. Washington, Weirton, and Smithton. Where have I gone? The Zebratail Extirpation Zone field surveys and even more stuff. In the first part, I explained basic data that I have been collecting. The data that I am collecting is, are there pawpaws here? Could pawpaws have been here before? Is this a good location for pawpaws? Or were the plants mostly invasive? Is there a good population of native plants? Are there any plants here at all? Did any cultural activity? Blah, 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 blah. After these points have been addressed, because pawpaws do certain pawpaw things, follow-up questions sometimes need to be asked. The number one question that needs the most follow-up is, are there pawpaws here? Because that's what it's about. Are there pawpaws here? Yes. Great. Do they bear fruit? No. Yes, but not so much. Let's see if we can do something to improve this. Yes, they bear lots. Great. I will harvest some fruit and save the seeds. No. Time to plant pawpaws if the conditions are right. Here's my first attempt at a flowchart. I threw in graffiti from Chartiers Creek that you can only see if you are on a boat or very adventurous. Before I talk about specific places, I should explain this flowchart. Time to plant pawpaws if the conditions are right. Are the conditions right here? No, yes. The conditions needed to grow pawpaws are specific. Number one, they need to be shaded the first few years. Number two, it needs to be fairly moist. On the left is a good area to plant pawpaws. I would plant them off to the side of the water. Under these conditions, they won't grow quickly, but they won't need a lot of attention either. Remember, to get fruit, then 2 matures are necessary. It is better to plant extra because some will not make it. 3 to 5 plants, or 7 to 10 seeds, and only in the spring. Another issue is uneducated fauna. In areas where pawpaws are well established, the local fauna do not bother them. However, if you plant them in areas where the fauna do not know them, they will eat them, especially in the fall and winter when food is scarce. Gastrointestinal distress is a good educator and more likely to occur if the pawpaw can grow out a bit. The closer you get to Pittsburgh, the rarer the pawpaw patches become. It is also more likely that the growing conditions are not as good. So let's take a hike on the Great Allegheny Passageway. As far as I can tell, there are no pawpaws growing from the point until just south of McKeesport, except for south side slopes. This is just someone's yard. The owner of the property does not mind people harvesting the fruit. In fact, most of the time, a lot drops on the ground and rots. However, a lot of the seeds germinate, and when I started my project, most of my seedlings came from here. The owner has no idea what the origin of these pawpaws are, so I think that they've been here for a pretty long time. I did submit them to a genetic study, so perhaps I will get some answers. I should also note a tree that is on the river towards Station Square. Unfortunately, it's been cut back repeatedly over the years, but I did read a report that said that it used to have fruit. At the moment, I'm not sure if it's still alive. Gotta get out there. And so we continue up the Monongahela on the Great Allegheny Passageway. Between Station Square and McKeesport, there are no pawpaws on it, except for the aforementioned. This stretch of the river was heavily impacted by industry, so it is likely that there were pawpaws there before. Anyway, I wanted to show an example in my target pathway that, like the great majority of paths, do not have pawpaws anymore. And here we see a nice map that shows the old mills. Highlighted are the Carnegie Works. These two photos are located between the Southside Flats and Hayes. They show 2 ways how passive restoration goes. Remember passive restoration? One shows a line of sycamores on a fence line where the railroad did not mow. Hopefully they will let some of these trees reach maturity. The other shows knotweed framing the sewer crossing line. An interesting thing that I have heard is that pawpaws can go toe-to-toe with knotweed. And I said, yeah, they can. Overall, the conditions in most of this area are good for planting pawpaws, and in this section there's plenty of suitable areas that are accessible. Yeah, you can get down to the river in most of these spots without like falling off a cliff or whatever. This next spot is next to the Rankin Bridge. It used to be a large railroad yard associated with the U.S. Steel Homestead Works. You can see that the staghorn sumac is struggling to get a foothold here. This is not a good location for pawpaws, but perhaps this area could get some assistance to start some more suitable trees. The options, given the conditions on the ground that just might be largely concrete, are limited. Below the sheer concrete cliff, inaccessible by foot, are some mature sycamores, which, generally speaking, are an indicator of a good habitat for pawpaws and other understory riparian trees. Yeah, I'd love to see something happen here. You know? South of McKeesport is Dead Man's Hollow. It is owned by the Allegheny Land Trust, a nonprofit who is doing important work. Here are remains of the pipe factory that burned down in 1920. There is a small but infertile pawpaw patch. Maybe I can fix that later on. I had to do some off-trail hiking to find that, but it's there. Oh, wait, it looks like I covered the majority of the Monongahela River. All right, here's another one. It's McKeesport. Definitely not a spot to plant any trees. But there's some that are kind of like by the Rankin Bridge. Anyhow, I hope that this series helps explain some of what's needed to restore the zebra swallowtail and what I've been doing. Anachronistic plants cannot return without mastodons. Anachronistic plants could return if we plant them. Zebra swallowtails need pathways, pawpaw trails to guide them home. Zebra swallowtail flies through the valley, could be in Pittsburgh if we plant pawpaws. Hazelwood, Overbrook, Lawrenceville. All right, thank you for watching this. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, tell me great things, send me money, go on hikes with me, I don't know, make a movie about this, arrange my music to other musical instruments. Just do all the good things because you want to see this butterfly and riparian things happen. All right, thank you. Bye-bye.